So has anybody taken a video? I don't have a text yet. No? No storytelling? I guarantee the storytelling's happening out there. And my guess is you might be being inspired. Or at some point, for the current class, the Academy 2025 and Mastermind 11, I guarantee there were sparks that happened. There was an aha moment. And I wanted to start and share a little bit about mine, because I don't know if I've ever shared this with my RFL community. So in my undergrad, when I was at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire in about 1990, they just started a leadership institute within the business school. And I was one of the first students to engage in that program. And I had a professor, his name was Dr. Doug Hallett. And we read the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Of course, it was the 90s. And it was the only college class I got an A. But what was so interesting is like I left, that was a class that I went, oh my gosh. Like I love this conversation. I love everything that I learned. It was just like those life lessons. And what's so interesting, I was just talking to Chris McDowell, it's like, you know, to have the opportunity to learn leadership is pretty awesome. And I want, like, the founders that started this organization 38 years ago, I mean, we owe them a huge amount of credit for bringing this program to the Valley. So from my undergrad, what was interesting, I got into radio sales for WAXX radio station in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and got to meet a lot of country music stars along the way. At Country Jam, right? Country Jam, because that's where it started in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, before it came out to Colorado. Fun fact. But I just start to think about like where these things that inspire you and where they take you. So if I was inspired in 1990 in this leadership arena and watched my path from radio sales, I was in media, newspaper, magazines, internet, you name it, and when lots and lots of leadership classes. I'd go on vacation and my friends would giggle at me because the book I would bring was a leadership book. And they're like, you're on vacation, you should be reading Sumo Kid or something. And I'm like, no, I want my leadership books. So a lot of conferences, a lot of certifications over the years. And when the job came open or was announced when Teresa Onizeski was passing the torch to leave the organization, I had 3 people in the community email me the job opportunity. They're like, Andrea, if there was ever a fit of a job in a community, this one has your name all over it. So I feel very fortunate that I put my application in, and here I am 15 years later. Or almost, going into my 15th year. But again, it's always going back to think about, like, what is those sparks? What is those things that influence you to step down a path and take the courage to step up? Because in essence, leadership is about that. It's not easy work. Pierre's probably going to reinforce this as he comes up here to talk about the hard work. I mean, there's a lot of hard work out there right now, folks. And it's like, it can be exhausting at times. That's when we're needed the most. So I really encourage you to always come back to where is that spark? What got you there? Because sometimes we forget when we get super busy or things get hard. And then when we can find that foundation, align with our values, understand, where our passions are, and it all of a sudden becomes easy once again. We have to remind ourselves of those things along the way. So in the midst of sharing stories, I would love to have Chris McDowell and Taylor McBride come on up. This is really, really neat. When I joined Roaring Fork Leadership, Chris was on the board of directors at the time, and he had nominated Taylor to be in the Academy this year. So it's this concept of the ripple effect. And that's that idea of like nominating, encouraging others to take the step and have this experience and gain these skills. So I would love for Chris and Taylor to share their story.
Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to be here. I'm Chris McDowell, I'm the Executive Director of the Valley Health Alliance. And I've been involved off and on through the years. We even had a project that Taylor happened to be the facilitator for the Valley Health Alliance with the group. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe three.
I think.
Yeah. And it was about primary care. And Taylor, when he was there, he just totally became intoxicated with the idea of being part of RFL. And one thing that always stands out to me about Taylor is his curiosity. And as we all know, we love Ted Lasso. Be curious, not judgmental. And Taylor definitely demonstrates the ability to be curious. And if you are really curious about my story, pull me aside. Right now, I want to talk about Taylor and what Taylor means to the Valley Health Alliance, and more in particular, what Taylor can mean to each one of you as he has gone through this experience, and what it's going to mean for all of us, for Taylor, and what he does. And I think you'll find curiosity kind of throughout his sharing. So, Taylor?
Wow. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Andrea, for sticking with me during the handful of years that it took to finally commit to this incredible program. I still remember when Chris first told me about RFL, and it sounded like an amazing opportunity, but honestly at the time it felt a little out of reach. The theme tonight is the edge of possibility, and for me at the time it seemed outside of the edge of possibility. I was knee-deep in new parenthood. I was navigating career and family in a valley that asked a lot from each of us. And at the time, saying yes to RFL felt like it was outside of that edge of possibility. But looking back, it certainly wasn't outside of what was possible. It was just really outside my comfort zone. And as we learned from Pierre, who's around here somewhere, and Andrea, that's where real growth and transformation happens. And that's exactly what I needed. Because if leadership is about anything, it's about showing up, especially when conditions aren't perfect. This program has given me the courage and support to stay curious when I don't understand, to listen when I don't agree, and to keep growing, not just for myself, but for my family, my community, and the people I serve. I've come to realize that my very ability to live, raise a family, and contribute in a special place like this incredible valley, is in no small part thanks to leaders, mentors, and organizations, many of which are represented in this room tonight. You are the reason that a life here is even possible for someone like me, and I feel a deep responsibility and even deeper sense of gratitude for that. So thank you, RFL, for helping me not just find my edge, but more importantly, for showing me it's not a limit, it's a starting line. And now I get to bring that forward into my work, my relationships, and how I show up as a parent, a spouse, a neighbor, and a community member. To anyone here who's wondering whether it's the right time to say yes to something big, just know the edge of possibility is where real leadership begins. Thanks again, Andrea, and all the volunteers and the RFL board, the founders, as she mentioned. Thank you, Chris, for putting this opportunity in front of me. And thank you, fellow RFL graduates, who I now consider all new friends. Without each of your support and hard work, none of this would even be possible. So, thanks again.
Yeah.
Again, we all have these stories, and we get to all hear, right? What you think might not be possible within yourselves, what can become possible when you get to look inside and see what's there. I would love to invite Pierre Powell to come on up. I met Pierre through some other leadership colleagues in the past, and we're still connected with your Venture Foundation, and couldn't be more excited when we came together and brought him into the Academy mix as one of the faculty to bring this foundational concept around adaptive leadership. And I'm so thankful. Oh, he moved up. He was in the Front Range. Now he lives in Summit County, so he's closer. He's awesome. A little closer. But I look forward to hearing what you can share. I know some of you have been chatting with him around the work he does, which is, in my mind, more of this adaptive framework in the world would really help in so many different ways. So I'm glad that we have connected and brought that into this community. So thank you, Pierre.
I wish I was going to be a little more extemporaneous, but I do have some remarks prepared. And I think if anybody wants to come sit down, please sit down. It's going to be long. Anyway, I really am pleased to be here and be with you. I was a little bit confused. I got notice that this was business casual, and coming from the Front Range, I was a little thinking I needed to get. Anyway, I stopped by the Banana Republic outlet store. Said hi. I think it's appropriate now to take that off. I was told I need to untuck my shirt. You guys don't mind me doing that. And take this foot off. I mean, I am a member of the mountain community now, so. There you go. Anyway, it really is cool to be up here at Snowmass with my fellow mountain people. I did just buy a house. We just moved into it this week in Dillon. I realized that all the belts are in a box somewhere that I could not find. So that was a little bit disappointing. But anyway, when Andrea asked me to come speak as the keynote, I couldn't resist because this group, this class, I've done this for I think 4 years in a row now, and this class was absolutely outstanding. So I really enjoyed that. This keynote is kind of focused around the adaptive leadership lens. And when I was asked, I've been fighting my inner voice, the egoic voice that I have, because I really wanted to get a chance to stand up here and sound important. And I maybe wanted to drop some wisdom bombs. I say bombs because I was a pilot. Andrea didn't bring that up, but I saw a meme the other day, it's at a funeral, and they're talking about the pastor's talking from the casket that's about to drop down. He goes, does anybody else, anything else to say? And then from the back, somebody goes, I'm a pilot. I'm like, yeah, so just so you guys know, I mean, I'm a fighter pilot, but let's not that Anyway, as we discussed in class, and we kind of talked about this, I really want to be your hero today. I want to be your guru. And if you're familiar or you remember the drama triangle, I want to be the rescuer, right? If you remember the drama triangle, the victim says, I can't do it. And the perpetrator says, no, you can't do it. But the rescuer comes along and says, I can do it for you. Right? So wouldn't it be great if someone would come along and say, I can do it for you? We're conditioned to look for heroes, but sometimes that desire becomes something else. It becomes a search for authority that absolves us of our responsibilities. When you guys signed up for this program, I don't know exactly what you wanted, but you might have wanted a hero to show up and simply hand you the tools to solve your problems. And I was thinking about when I was writing the Bonnie Tyler song, Holding Out for a Hero, and you probably remember the lyrics. It goes something like, I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. I'm not singing this. He's got to be strong. He's got to be fast. He's got to be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. And because of songs like that, I grew up wanting to be a hero. I wanted to fly jets because I couldn't think of anything else more heroic. And for a while I thought I was doing just that. I was serving, I was fighting, I was commanding. And that egoic voice still wants me to believe it. And honestly, part of me is standing here because of that. But that is not exercising leadership. Leadership isn't mathematics. It doesn't have simple formulas and easy to follow principles. Where the problem is understood and the solution is clear. And through this program, you've been exposed to a myriad of ideas, concepts, and frameworks. And sometimes they work together, but more often they conflict. So now that the program is concluding, how do you make sense of this as you step into your leadership? So I wanted to reflect on my time in my career, and I realized that leadership wasn't about having the answers. My military journey followed the normal path in the flying community. Went to pilot training, then combat training, then became combat ready, and then I taught pilots for a few years. Then I returned to study leadership at Air Command and Staff College. Then I moved to the Pentagon to serve as an aide to the Secretary of the Air Force, and I returned to finally command a fighter squadron, where I practiced everything the world told me on how to be in charge. Afterwards, they sent me to be a national security fellow at Harvard, and my understanding of leadership was flipped upside down, completely disrupted in the fact I took a class on adaptive leadership. I didn't learn new frameworks, but I had to unlearn the old ones, like the fact that authority doesn't really work in complexity. Instead, authority focuses on mitigating symptoms and pain. The Air Force sent me back to the staff, and that I used that time to manage the Air Force's combat budget. And when that tour ended, it was time to compete for a fighter group command. A group is a group of squadrons, so I would have been in charge of a group of squadron commanders. I made the list, and all that remained was my assignment. One day my boss, a 2-star general, called me into his office. He said, Lucky was my fighter pilot call sign, and the origins of that will remain classified. Lucky, congratulations. You're going to be a group commander at a fighter wing. Not just any wing, but the 33rd Fighter Wing at Eglin Air Force Base. Whoa. I couldn't believe my ears. The 33rd was legendary. They had shot down 16 MiGs during Desert Storm, more than any other unit. And they were located on the beach. Sir, I can't believe it. I thought that command would have gone to a fighter weapons school graduate. And all of you that have seen Top Gun, fighter weapons school is the Top Gun of the Air Force. And then he said, it did. Papa Ma is taking the operations group. You're taking command of the maintenance group. I don't understand. At that time, pilots commanded pilots. Maintainers commanded maintainers. The two didn't cross, it wasn't done. And though we respected maintenance, we often joke that the maintenance's sole purpose was to ground our jets and keep us from flying. Then he continued, Lucky, General Mosley, the chief of staff, is doing an experiment to see if a pilot can command a maintenance group. He's doing one in Asia, one in the United States, and one in Europe. He wants to move maintenance under ops. At the end of your command, you're going to provide an after-action report. So off I went. First, a 4-week crash course in maintenance. Then straight to the 33rd, where I replaced a senior colonel who had 36 years of maintenance experience. On my first day, around 6:30 p.m., my deputy commander and his three squadron commanders walked into my office. The meeting wasn't on my calendar. Hey guys, is something wrong? I asked. No, this is when Colonel Carlisle would gather us together and share his thoughts for the next day. We'd ask questions and he'd tell us what to do. I never felt so inadequate, so ill-equipped, so embarrassed. There I was, the new commander with nothing to offer. No expertise and no credibility. What I didn't know was that I had been blessed by not knowing. I wanted to give them what they asked for, but I couldn't. Then I remembered a quote from the Harvard program. Leadership is about letting people down at a rate they can stand. And I felt like I had let them down. The quote means that people want solutions, somebody to tell them what to do. Anybody asked you for advice lately? Do people really want your advice? Or do they want to be seen, heard, and known? So I started asking questions. I asked them what they thought we should do. I then engaged the senior enlisted force and I asked if we could do anything, what would we do? I began bridging the gap between pilots and maintainers. I stationed enlisted maintainers in the fighter squadrons so that they could translate the cultures. I formed an AFSO 21 team, which was in a process improvement office, and they tackled problems across the group and initiated 81 new processes brought to us from the young airmen that fixed the jets. I listened, I learned, and I tried to show empathy. I had to. And that was all I did. Within a year, we passed our operational readiness inspection and the logistics standardization inspection with an excellent rating. We were the only F-15 maintenance group in the Air Force to meet maintenance requirements that year. Why do I tell you this? It's because when I look back, I think it shouldn't have worked. But it did work. Not because I knew what to do, but because I stopped pretending that I did. I learned that the crux of adaptive leadership is that sometimes, maybe most of the time, your expertise and bias is the very thing that gets in the way. As you reflect, where do you find yourself trying to solve others' problems? Where are you trying to be their hero versus taking the time to help them own their work and diagnose their own challenges? What I found was that exercising leadership is about curiosity, convening, listening, empathy, building trust, and the willingness to make experiments and risk failure. It's about sitting in the discomfort of not knowing while holding space for the work to emerge. As you've completed this program, can you mobilize people to work together to make progress on the world's most complex problems, the ones that you face right here in the Roaring Fork Valley? After watching your project videos, I could see it. You stayed the course, you held space, and you practiced leadership. And I think you get it. But mobilizing people to face their challenges means overturning their apple cart. As one author put it, it's like moving their cheese. Know that when you confront someone's historic reality, you're messing with their identity, and that puts you at risk. History is full of those examples. Abe Lincoln, Martin Luther King, Robert and John F. Kennedy were trying to exercise leadership, and they were literally assassinated. Most of us won't face that literal assassination, but I have, and you will face dismissal, undermining, transfer, passive-aggressive attack. The system protects itself, and that's when leadership begins. Please remain resilient and persevere. Sequence and pace the work at a rate that the stakeholders can stand. Sometimes progress happens at the atomic level, small daily habits that compound into big results. But finally, take care of yourself. Find sanctuary. Find people who will listen and speak truth even when you don't want to hear it. Perhaps commit to continuing regular calls with the group with which you worked and continue your peer consultations. So what I think I was trying to say in this presentation was the world doesn't need more heroes. It needs people like you, willing to focus on the work, hold space for learning, and ultimately engender real change. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the inspiration and hope that you, Andrea, and the Roaring Fork Leadership Institute gives me when I think about the future of Colorado. I know we're in good hands. P.S. To cap my maintenance story, after I relinquished command, my Chief Master Sergeant came into my office and he said, "Colonel Powell, when we had heard that a pilot was coming to run our group, the 9 of us senior enlisted chiefs decided to get you fired. We were going to prove you couldn't do it. I'm glad you didn't give us that chance." And then he presented me with a bronze statue of a flight line mechanic, and on the inscription it read, "Colonel Powell, Maintenance Officer." Thanks.
So tonight, we want to honor the remarkable individuals that just completed the Academy in Mastermind. This concept that we keep hearing about is around thinking of your commitment to yourselves, to the growth that you just had, to opening up that curiosity and courage that it took, and that you've explored and practiced. In just a few words, what we've put together for each of the participants is, if you saw it in the program, if you picked one up on the table, each of the participants has a word next to their name. I have a description of what that means, and this is the growth that myself saw, or that Nancy Fredericks saw in each and every one of you. So I'm going to go ahead and go through who I believe is here. If I miss somebody, please let me know. But I'd like to acknowledge you as I'm reading your description of your word. I would love for you to come up, receive a certificate. If Pierre, you wanted to help me with that. Susan, they maybe hand out the gifts. Oh, do you remember at the Academy, this was, the cat was out of the bag? Do you remember when DJ mentioned that you're going to get a mug? We got a big old, let's show them one of those, big old 40-ounce Stanley looking RFL mug that you all get to take. So let's begin. Let's see, Connor Burrows. Your word is understanding. Connor, you create space for others to be heard and bring empathy into every conversation. And I got to witness that hands-on. So congratulations. Let me give you your certificate. Eric here? I don't think so. Okay. Katie Clapper. Katie's word is present. Your compassion and ability to truly listen makes others feel seen and supported. Do you need me to want me to re-say it? Did you? Yeah, okay. You're doing other things. So your word was present. Yeah. Your compassion and ability to truly listen makes others feel seen and supported. Yeah. True. Let's see, Alicia's, did she sneak in? No. Okay. Gretchen, where did Gretchen go? Gretchen Dietrich? She just stepped out.
Come back.
Somebody will make sure I don't miss it as I go back. She's here! Come on up, Gretchen! We have a certificate and a gift for you. I came up, if you saw the brochure, your word is reliable. You take initiative with precision and confidence, and you're always willing to step up. Congratulations. So we got a gift, and Susan will hand the certificate to you. Yep. Careful. Chase Ingle. The word that came up for me for you is connector. You unite people through the powerful communication and high aligned efforts of your impact. Congratulations. Did Chance make it? I don't think so. Chance. Let's see. Thomas. Come on up, Thomas. Thomas Hughes. Your word is committed. You dedicate yourself wholeheartedly to your goals, and you demonstrated determination and integrity. Congratulations. Jacob Kraft. you get the word adaptive. You navigate challenge with humility and persistence, committed to collective growth. Congratulations. Amanda Couple. She what? Oh, she's in Costa Rica. Dang, good for her. Susanna. Where's my Susanna? Your word is balanced. You learn to stretch and know when to step back. I saw a lot of courage in that stepping in also. You've become more attuned, I think, in the moment and of all of the moments in your life. So, way to go. Congratulations. I saw Veronica Lopez. Your word is compassionate. You bring warmth and care to every interaction. Did anybody disagree with that? That's true. You make people feel safe and seen. Congratulations. Taylor McBride. Your word is emerging. You've leaned into this journey with a quiet strength, growing more confident in your leadership voice and presence in every step forward that you're taking. Congratulations. Nicole O'Neill. Your word is caring. You show leadership through curiosity, collaboration, and a deep responsibility for others. Congratulations. Chris Peterson. Chris, your word is belonging. You inspire people to show up, get involved, and bring their full selves to any activity or event. Congratulations. Let's see, did Stephen make it? Stephen Roche? No, okay. Rosa? Rosa? Your word, you got it? Yeah. Your word is enthusiastic. Your joyful spirit and can-do attitude infuse energy into every space you enter, inspiring others to show up fully. Congratulations.
Fundraiser too.
Kelly here? Kelly Selby? No. Allison, come on up. Your word is initiator. You step up, take responsibility, and bring energy to every role, even ones that you're not assigned. Thank you. Sammy Wells. Your word is steady. You bring calm and clarity to those around you and create space of trust and support. Congratulations. Okay, she's jumping. Anybody from Academy? that I missed? I want to move on to our mastermind group. Brooke, did Brooke make it? She did not. She was trying. Okay. Melissa. Melissa King. The word is disciplined. Your discipline shapes consistency, focus, and the high standards that others naturally follow. Congratulations. Allison. Allison Cody. Does anybody have a lighter? Her word is igniter. We should have timed that better. You light up a room as you share your insights and passions, sparking motivation and mental shifts. Congratulations. Alice. Alice Johnson? Nope, she's not here, that's right. Mara. Your word is decisive. Your consistent integrity, keen mind, thoughtful presence, and natural poise have earned the trust and admiration of your peers. Congratulations. Kelly Murphy. She's in the gym. Your word is resourceful. You find a way, always. And your resourcefulness aids people and the organization's progress wherever you are, continually moving to higher levels of excellence. Congratulations. Taylor Smith. Your word is intentional. Is anybody nervous? Like, what is my word? It's in the, if you didn't look at the version. You show up with presence and clarity, shaping the spaces around you with thoughtfulness and creativity. Congratulations. Jeannie Stowe. Your word is empowering. Your leadership empowers others to lead themselves, creating a ripple of impact beyond your reach. Congratulations. And Jamie Wall. Did she make it? All right, did I miss anybody? I hope not. I hope we got it through. Because I know some people were going to be here, some people weren't. Okay. Rosa, would you come on up? So, Rosa just graduated from the Academy. She's also a Mastermind alumni. And she has already stepped up to be on the Rowan Leadership Board of Directors. So I just wanted to share a little bit. Let's hear one more story before we get back to some mingling and a couple additional words. So, Rosa.
I have my notes. Oh, here you go, right there. Hi, all. I hope you're having a good evening. Okay, I needed to write my little speech because then I forget or get off what I'm going to be saying. So, okay. So I'd like to talk about my learning journey with RFL. First of all, I'd like to start with my Mastermind 6-month course. This helped me gain confidence and have a strong, clean presence and learn to empower other women. Well, with the Academy, well, where to start? I joined to get out of my comfort zone and build relationships. But little did I know that I was far away from what I thought getting out of my comfort zone was. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. This is getting out of my comfort zone. Okay, so it's more of just jumping in and doing things to help others, but rather than trusting the process, staying back, and just being there as a support system. Also, most importantly, to trust myself, to know that I can achieve better, greater things, which of course led me to apply for the RFL board member. So here I am, ready to keep advocating for myself, for my Latino community, and can't wait to see what we can do as board members of RFL and to expand all the amazing tools that this organization has given all of us. So thank you.
So Liz and Susan, want to come on up? Yes. So if you might have met, and some of you may know this, that we hired our first ever development director for the organization in September. And some of you may know Susan Herrig. She spoke. She was one of our keynotes here at this event. She's a Mastermind alumni and current chair of the board of directors, who her tenure is almost up. So wanted her to say a few words for us all, and same with Liz.
Hopefully this is easier than passing out those certificates. If you did not get one, we do have some for you. Last night I was in an event for my son. He's a lacrosse player. And something that really hit me was I had a new favorite group of people. That favorite group of people are the parents that show up to these kinds of events with half a bag of Fritos and some Cheese Whiz. They're my favorite people now because in spite of everything, they are busy. They have these very robust lives. They're shuttling people, their kids, up and down the valley. They're there for their friends. They're there for work, for their colleagues. And they showed up for their children. Because it doesn't matter at the end of the day what they brought. The fact that they showed up is what their kids are going to remember. Leaders show up as well. Leaders show up when no one else does. A leader is someone who's going to stand tall and extend a hand and help a person in need. Leaders are here to serve others. And we all know that this time in our world, we need ethical, compassionate, kind, courageous leaders that show up. RFL shows up for those leaders. RFL was built as a leadership option, as a safe learning lab for leaders to practice, to get skill, to gain confidence, to build a community of fellow leaders. RFL, for the last 37 years, has shown up for the citizens of this community with the intention of making things better. And now we are asking you to show up for RFL in two ways. We are committed to removing barriers for people to attend the Academy, Masterminds, or any other programming that we offer. To do that, we need money. For the last 37 years, we have given away $137,500 in scholarships. And our ask of each of you is to consider supporting the mission and the vision of Roaring Fork Leadership in any way you can. If it's a box of Triscuits, if it's a White Claw, if it's $20, if it's $1 million, it doesn't matter. The fact is you're showing up for your colleagues, the future generation of leaders here in this valley. And when leaders are fortified and they have the confidence and the skill, they make everyone around them better because they're showing up for someone else. My second ask in how you can show up for us, for Roaring Fork Leadership, is to nominate fellow leaders, people you know, for the Academy. There's QR codes all over. There's opportunities for you to just take a picture, nominate someone. It doesn't mean that they're obligated to participate, but it gets them on our radar. And what's even more powerful is you have a conversation with them and say, I think you would benefit from this because I see leadership in you. And I see you with the capacity and the capability to step up and be of service to others. Because that's what leaders do. Leaders show up, and leaders make a difference. So please consider those two asks. Thank you for just even considering that. And apparently if this were the Oscars, that would be my cue to step off stage, so I'm gonna hand this off to Liz.
Well, that is a difficult act to follow, but I will do my best. I just want to take a moment as the development director to thank our sponsors for the evening, Alpine Bank, Holy Cross Energy, Haas Architecture, SGM, and then our beverage sponsors. We all enjoy those as well, Quality Brands of the Rockies and the Riviera Supper Club. So thank you to those folks who potentially work for those organizations, and just thank them again for supporting leadership. And if you look in your brochures, on that last page is an acknowledgement for all the businesses that support you all coming through our programs. And so say thank you again to those employers. We just want to say thank you to our community. It's really our community that makes these things happen and everyone coming together. I just want to share that I was a graduate of the Academy in 2020, and I was a scholarship recipient. I was working at a nonprofit, and I was working 2 other jobs bartending, and I was the 3rd best bartender in Garfield County that year. So I could not have done RFL and the Academy without the support of our larger community of the alumni who come together, of the corporate sponsors who do that. That's what inspired me to apply for this job as the development director, because I believe so much in what RFL does and who we are as an organization and who we are as a community, with all of you sitting in front of us this evening. So I want to thank you all so much for being here. There is still plenty of food and drinks and loveliness. Please mingle, please say hi, come say hi to me if you haven't said hello yet. Thank you so much. Congratulations to our wonderful graduates. Just in talking in this kind of concept around the village that it takes to make this program happen. A few other people I just want to quickly acknowledge in the room, and we do have little special gifts, and I have a card for you as well. Did Kara Hagen make it? Oh my gosh, she had no idea. Kara is a volunteer. She took a whole day out of her schedule and helped support an academy session. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. Liz, do you mind helping me to sort through? Some flowers behind you are for you. Katie Nelson, come on up. Who knew you'd be being acknowledged? She came to one of the masterminds to volunteer for those amazing women, and I just wanted to say thank you as well. How ridiculous is this? Chris McDonald, thank you for your time, your commitment for so many years to this organization. Come on up. Taylor McBride as well. One more time. Rosa, please come up again. Pierre, thank you so much for bringing your wisdom to the Academy. volunteering. You met Yannick at the front. He graduated from Academy last year. I guess I don't need my glasses. Tyler Stevens, he's been helping at our programs every couple of years, so thank you again for your continued support. If you don't know his dad, Rick Stevens, talk about another story of a ripple effect. He's here, he was an advisor for the Academy, so thank you so much, Rick. And Beth Freeman in the back, thank you, Beth. Another one of our advisors who spends countless hours devoted to the Academy and their team projects. Maying Lee, another advisor, thank you. So we have Tina, thank you so much for your dedication. And Amy Schuster, she's here to help clean up after the event. Probably see her amazing face at the Basalt Library. Lastly, I want to thank the board of directors for their support, their direction, their caring of shaping this organization to be what it is today. Did Dave Levine, is he still here? He left. Yeah, damn it. Sean Gleason. Yeah. Carol Ott. Susan Herrick. We've got, our newest board member as well with Rosa is Paul Bowman. As well as Charlie Chacos. Charlie? Awesome. So just want to acknowledge the village, the commitment, the dedication to this concept around leadership. So I want to thank you. Please mingle, enjoy a little bit more, another libation, another plate of food. And thank you so much. And I look forward to staying in touch with you over the years. Thanks for being here tonight.